today. Kids been preparing hard for this talented, fast Maryland football team. They definitely present some great challenges for us, and we're looking forward to attacking those challenges head on. And any questions?
First time this year, Coach, you've had just the 1 week to prepare. So what challenges does that give you in terms of preparation?
I've actually slept better at night because there's not all that time to worry. It's nice to be in that daily grind of in-season football, and I've been pleased with the way we practiced, which is probably the biggest thing. I think it's nice to be back in that in-season rhythm, to be honest with you. So hopefully we can come out and.
Scott, kind of a two-part question. One is about their speed you just mentioned there. The other thing is it seems like it's just a completely different Maryland team that you're preparing for now as opposed to a year ago because they're much healthier in this game.
Yeah, they're very, like I mentioned, they're a very talented team, great speed, great playmakers on offense, but also in the kicking game, obviously, two guys that have returned the ball extremely well. Back to the offense, they're averaging 37 points a game, almost 38 points a game. So they know how to be productive, that's for sure. So we got our game plan. Now we go out there and play that game plan to its highest ability. Great challenges in front of us.
A couple of injury questions. I wanted to ask if you had an update on Josh Paris, and then also Sean Avant's a guy we haven't really heard a lot about. He had an upper body injury.
Yeah.
I don't like to speculate, but is he dealing with some kind of head injury?
Sean's still out right now, and Josh Paris has had a good week of practice, so we're looking forward to getting him back on the field.
He is fine.
Josh?
Yeah.
Yep, he's ready to go.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
Mark. Coach.
Hey, Mark.
How are you?
Good.
Program hasn't been 3-0 since 1991. Do you talk about that? How important?
No, not at all. Next game, Maryland, focused in on beating that team. At the end of the season, we'll look back and see where we are. But you can't. I mean, that was part of our problem in that first game. We were all diluted. We weren't focused in on the 5-second war of each play. Each play's about 5 seconds long, and we talk a lot about winning 5 seconds at a time. 6-inch battles. Can we win the 6-inch battle? We got to learn from the mistakes we made game one. We weren't focused in. We weren't locked into the job at hand, and we got to stay focused on that target. Once you start getting that focus too wide, you're in trouble. We don't want it too tight where you play tight, but we got to find that balance, that harmony, and our mindset, combined with our mental makeup, our physical makeup, our emotional makeup has to be all in tune. And in tune is focused on the job at hand, 5 seconds at a time. And anytime you start looking at all those other things that you guys get an opportunity to write about, that's for the fans. That's for the fans and all the people that are interested in what's going on in college football with each program around the country. We got to focus on one play at a time. Coach speak is coach speak because it's real. And the best coaches get their guys honed in. I did a horrible job of that against Villanova, and got to make sure we never make that mistake again.
Jacob? Julian had mentioned that you and the coaching staff.
Who did? What's that?
Julian had said that you and the coaching staff had gone out of your way to remind them what a talented receiver Kada Maryland has. Can you speak to how you've gone about doing that?
You state the facts. They're good football players that have good numbers. And you turn on the tape and you can see that. So, we need to get after those guys, but, I haven't talked about it too much more than the film won't lie. Those are good players. So we got a hell of a task in front of us.
Chris? Scott, it's a little bit off topic, but you talked about Kada walking on earlier in the preseason. Where did he show you kind of the toughness that, he'd be able to fit in and do what you needed him to do at this level?
My son played with him at Fayetteville Manlius, and those kids came to our team camp every year, and he's just a tough, hard-nosed, physical kid, excellent student, great parents. Unfortunately, his dad went to a better place, and I've always loved the kid. He's just a great person, and I think he had thought about playing some ball somewhere, and then he had that difficult time in his life that he had to overcome, he and his family, and he had to be there for Mom and the family, and just a great testament to Kada as a person. And then I think he asked Wolf, "You think your dad would let me walk on?" And I got wind of it, and then he called and stopped by the office and told him I'd love to have him in the program. So that's kind of how that whole thing came about. But I've known him since he was, 13, 14 years old, whenever it was we first got here, and he was knocking the hell out of Wolf in practice. And I said, "Ooh, who's that guy? Does a nice job." So, he's got some limitations with some of his skill sets, but he's done a great job being a scout team player right now, both in the kicking game and on defense. And it's just great to have him in the family.
Stephen? Against Villanova, Poppy Livers returned a punt against you guys. I know Riley didn't really give Central Michigan much of a chance to do that, but Will Likely is a pretty good return man for Maryland. What are you doing to prepare for him?
We have a good plan. We have to execute that plan, and I wouldn't want to tell you anything more than that because I know you're for the Syracuse Orange this weekend as well.
Coach, talk a little bit about C.J. Brown. Is he like Robertson? I know he's kind of a dual threat guy.
Well, yes and no. The schemes are different. He's a very good football player, and at any time he can hurt you. He really hurt West Virginia with both his feet and his arm. 2 plays jump out at me. The first one was, the zone read in the run game. He had a zone read, took it outside. 3 guys on 1 blocker, and he split all 3 of them, took it down the sideline for a touchdown. And then in the passing game, West Virginia presented a cover 2 with a trap concept where the corner's trying to trap the slot receiver visually. Problem was nobody jumped outside or no one ran an outside route. Both guys went vertical. 2 fast guys on 1 safety, not a good matchup. CJ threw it to the inside guy for a big touchdown, and you can't give them plays. When they're talented, they're going to earn plays. Make them earn all of them. If we got a guy in coverage and he's hip to hip and he's playing the football and their guy makes a great play, go to the next play. The ones you can't swallow are the ones where a guy's wide open because you gave him one. And CJ has done a nice job seeing mistakes on defense and delivering the football to the right guy. So we have to eliminate those mistakes, make them earn it, and play physical football with those skill kids.
Second game in a 9-game stretch with no break. How are you keeping your team healthy during this time?
We're just worried about winning 1 game at a time. I can't worry about things I can't control. We're playing football the way we need to. When we practiced hard, we played hard. When we practiced physical, we played physical. When we haven't practiced physical, we didn't play physical. So, it is what it is. Let's go play football every day. Try to make good decisions in practice without taking away their edge. And we need to stay true to who we are. And there's a reason you play physical, you practice physical. So I don't know any other way. I remember Coach Mallory talking about that many, many years ago, and he said, "I can't back off. We can't back off. It's who we are, and the minute I back off, we don't play the same." And I'll never forget that. Unfortunately, maybe I did for a few days there before that first one. Let's not talk about Villanova ever again. All right, I know I brought it up first. You guys can turn it on me. Let's all agree never to talk about Villanova again. Can we shake on it? Start with Brent. Can we shake on it?
Jesse?
Even with some injuries on the line, you guys still haven't allowed a sack this year. Is that a testament to the work Joe Adams done in his first year?
Yep. Joe's done a really nice job with those kids. I think the scheme's been good, and I think Joe's done a very good job with those guys. But we got to prove it again Saturday. So we'll have added dimensions, different looks, some talented guys on that front 4 with Maryland. Front 3, front 4, depending on what looks they're in. So another challenge in front of us. But hats off to what they've done so far. But let's not rest on our laurels.
I have an inside baseball question on how you run practice. Do you dedicate a specific time?
Wait up, baseball? What?
No, just like a different phrase.
Okay, good.
Do you,
I'm not very bright.
A specific time or day where you just scrimmage freshmen and get a good look at what they can do, or do they just kind of follow suit and mix in natural order?
Yeah, it all depends on the team and where we're at. Have not done that this year. We do that in bowl practice situations. We've done it in the past on bye weeks. The bye week this year was getting the guys that were ready to play the way we expected them, to be honest with you. We do kickoff practice early in practice, a little bit different than some people. We have this period we call the cloud of dust. It goes back to Woody Hayes, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I grew up in Ohio, and we try to set the tone in practice. And we go live with the ones, live with the twos for 3 plays, 6 plays total, and it's 3 yards. And we tally who wins the first one, the second one, and there's a winner, there's a loser, and we call spade a spade and try to kick off practice that way. But we really don't have anything designated where we can do that. The numbers at Syracuse, like I've mentioned in the past, same as Stanford, don't afford you the luxury to do some of those things that we did at schools where you could have an abundance of walk-ons because, tuition was affordable and opportunities to try to earn a scholarship, were a little bit different with numbers. So hard to do some of those things.
Scott, kind of following up on that, with Irv and Jamal Custis and a couple other freshmen getting on the field, how does that assist recruiting when, these guys are seeing that if you can contribute something, you're going to play?
Well, I think it always helps when you have young talent playing for you. When you get to a championship level, you have old talent playing for you in abundance as well. But I think it does show, to a large degree, the quality job that our assistant coaches have done in recruiting. Irv Phillips. I got a ton of questions. Why'd you take Irv Phillips, some guy from Connecticut? I said, well, there was another guy from Connecticut that was a pretty damn running back too here. And we watched the film and we loved him. We loved him. And, his traffic was limited. He wasn't a however many star recruit. I don't know how many of those things he had next to his name, but he's a damn good football player. And then when you met him, any of you guys that have met him, you fall in love with the kid. The kid loves football. He got a great mom, a great family. His high school coach is one of the winningest coaches in the history of Connecticut football. And when a guy like that, when a high school coach tells you this is a special kid, I just have flashbacks to, my dad talking about, if this coach says this kid can play, he must be pretty damn good. And that's the way I and the whole staff felt about him. And so, everybody says New England kid, all that baloney. He's a good player, but he's got to prove it this weekend now. It can't be one and done now. You know what I mean? So he needs to step up and do it again. So Floyd Little feels good about the pedigree coming in from Connecticut.
Time for a couple more questions, Dad.
Coach, we're 3 weeks into the season. What are you most proud about regarding this team?
Well, I think tough question this early. We have that counterbalance thing going on right now. Played horrible, played really well. Where's reality? So I'm reluctant to say anything more than I like the fact that when we put the process out there and told them what we felt like we needed to do to improve daily, they took it, they buckled up, they tightened up their chin straps a little tighter, and went to work. So that would probably be the biggest thing right now. But it's early in the season, so we got a lot of work to do to feel good about ourselves.
You talk about how you want to take it one game at a time, but how do you avoid looking ahead to Notre Dame?
There are no buts. Maryland.
We saw that you offered, or the staff offered, a 2015 quarterback. I've talked with Coach Lester about it a couple times and said for a while that wasn't kind of the plan. Did something happen to change that, or?
Like I mentioned to you before, a couple weeks ago, recruiting is fluid, and there's going to be ebb and flow back and forth and all over. Just keep looking for the best players that fit. Does this guy not fit? Does this number fit? It's ever changing, daily. There is no exact science to this thing other than what do we need now may change in 3 days. And let's be upfront and honest with where we're trying to get this thing and where the thing has to be numbers-wise at all the different positions. Because you start the season, you say, hey, we got all these great players at this position. Then you get into camp and you say, ooh, maybe we don't. Or maybe we have to move him inside, or maybe we have to move him outside, or maybe he's better at linebacker than he was here. So it's constantly changing. And that's why I don't have a lot of hair. I mean, it changes. The stress is there, and haven't gone grade too much yet, but I'm sure that day's coming as well. It just changes daily, Stephen. You know, there are no exacts in this deal. It's different. There's not a waiver wire where you say, oh, we made a mistake, let's go get someone else. You got to live with what you have. And then you also have to say, who can help us elsewhere? All right, hey, we don't have enough wide receivers. Maybe a running back can go out there. We need another DB. Can Corey play corner? Yeah, all right, let's give him a shot. Pretty good move, maybe a bad move. It's just ever-changing, you know, and that whole process will tell you come February, that first Wednesday in February, how it all lands, you know. Anything else is, you know, to some degree speculation as well, you know, because you're hearing it from all kinds of sources. And there's only really, you know, one source, the source at Manly, that counts, you know. So we're going to try to make the best decisions and see if we can back up this class we had last year with another football class and make good decisions that are in the best interest of the team as we.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Is there anything with the quarterbacks this year that you've seen that made you think maybe we can bring in another guy?
I mean, just everything I said, you know, it's fluid. I can't go any more detail, you know.
Take our last question from Mark.
Coach, going back to what you were saying, Dad, you had kind of one off game and one really good game. So what do you find out this week? What do you look forward to finding out this week about your team?
I just want to see us be everything you guys are, you know what I'm going to say. I want to see us knock the hell out of people, play physical, take shots. If you miss, and turn it back to your buddy who can take the next shot. And get another guy there so he can take a shot. On offense, I want to see us play smart football. I want to see us run the ball. I don't care who has a great game at running back. We got 4 or 5 guys that I trust. Whoever gets the hot hand, feed them. Terrell, make good decisions. Let's take care of the football. Let's make sure we're more physical than the other team. Yeah. Simple as that. It's simple.
Thanks,
Hard.
Coach.
Good?
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Everybody. Appreciate you coming today.
Thanks, guys.